It can remove toxins from the entire body. It stimulates the lymphatic system and circulation very well, protects the heart, and takes very good care of the kidneys. It can even remove some heavy metals from the body, and in general, it can really get you back on your feet. Even in situations when you are very exhausted and very weak, such a simple home method, and all you'll need is a nightgown and water, maybe one small addition. But that's for now. In a moment, I'll explain everything to you. Stay with me until the very end. My name is Natalia Samarets, and I am a naturopath. I specialize in body cleansing and simple home methods that support our bodies. The detoxification organs can no longer cope on their own and simply need to be supported. Very often, symptoms such as brain fog, lack of concentration, general weakness, a significant drop in immunity, depression, anxiety, skin breakouts, allergies, and so on already appear. Very often, practically 90% of these symptoms are caused by environmental pollution and contaminated food, which affect our bodies. And that's why in my book, Conscious Detox, I explain in detail how to cleanse the body, among other things. How you can use simple home treatments, such as, for example, the Spanish cloak. The Spanish cloak, this is a unique method that helps to mobilize the body in a very simple way to get rid of toxic compounds, but also to activate those internal reserves, to restore basic functions, to truly trigger that self-repair mechanism. The Spanish cloak is a type of cold wrapping, which was described by Sebastian Kneipp. And he actually used this method not just as a superficial cleansing, but as a deep mobilization of those toxic compounds that are hidden deep within the tissues. Additionally, he used it when it was necessary to support the body's regeneration, treat hypertension, and reduce fat around the heart, and he had spectacular results. You can actually use this treatment at home. It can be used as a standalone procedure. Just this one, to improve your well-being, or you can add it to various treatments, whether cleansing or regenerating the body. And although in general this method will work absolutely for everyone, for anyone, for healthy people as a preventive measure, for sick people as support, for older people, for children, for everyone. But it will be especially appreciated by people who are very seriously ill and for whom no other, more intensive method is an option. This is when the Spanish cloak can be used. First, I'll focus a bit on the mechanism of action. That's so you understand how it works and don't try to make any modifications or introduce something of your own into this method, because it needs to be effective and additionally safe. And the idea is that we wrap ourselves in something cold, like a cold cloth, and when the cold causes the star-shaped vessels to constrict, after a while, when we wrap ourselves up warmly, the vessels relax, then expand, and this works like a pump for the blood vessels. First, they constrict strongly, then they expand, pushing toxic substances out from inside. Additionally, the body temperature rises, creating a state similar to a feverish sweat, and the person starts sweating a lot. And as we know, when we sweat, it's like a home sauna under the blanket. So along with the sweat, we get rid of toxic substances and heavy metals. For our procedure, we will need a nightgown, but first of all, it should be either a cotton or linen nightgown, because it has to be a natural material. And in addition, it should absorb water very well. It should also be very long, reaching all the way to the floor. It should have very long sleeves. You can buy such a nightgown, but we always buy it 2 or even 3 sizes longer and bigger than we actually need, or you can sew one yourself. If you don't have one or can't find one, you can simply buy a long shirt and sew an extra piece at the bottom so that it really reaches halfway down. You can buy a shirt in various sizes. We take cold water, just regular cool water, soak our shirt in it and put it on our bare body. That's exactly why the shirt should be definitely bigger. Jak będzie dopasowana, to tak A wet shirt just won't go on a bare body. You can't put it on, so it needs to be easier for us. A big shirt, we soak it, wring it out. Of course, so it's not dripping, we put it on our bare body and lie down in bed. You need to protect the bed so it doesn't get wet, so the mattress doesn't get soaked, and then cover yourself with a dry sheet on top, and a few blankets as well. We make a sort of cocoon, wrap ourselves in it, and lie like that for at least an hour. But yes, at first, when I do it for the first time, an hour is enough, a few treatments, and later you can extend them. The maximum length of the treatment is 3 hours. We have to lie there, and although at first we'll feel cold, even get chills, later we'll warm up and it becomes an incredibly pleasant feeling. It can happen that after an hour, towards the end, we even feel like it's too hot for us, almost like a slight fever appears. That's a normal state. That's exactly what we're aiming for. After all that, we take off the shirt. It's good to rinse your body with a warm shower so that everything that's been drawn out, all those toxic substances, don't stay on your skin but get washed off. And then we dry ourselves off, get dressed, and go to bed as usual. We always do this treatment in the evening before we go to sleep. What's important is that this treatment is usually done every other day or twice a week. You don't do it every day. You give your body time to recover after quite an intense effort, and the proof of how effective this treatment is will be how the shirt looks. The wet one you take off your body very well. If your shirt is completely white, a clean white fabric, then you'll be able to notice various changes on it, brown or yellow stains. Even if they're not visible to the naked eye, it's worth washing it in a bowl, for example, with water, and seeing what color the water is. What did the shirt draw out from our body? What's also important, and what I want to point out, is that you should always wash the shirt after each treatment, because we don't want to put on a shirt full of toxins the next time. And when the blood vessels dilate, we want them to take it away. No, we want to keep drawing it out all the time. So we always wash this shirt, but not in the washing machine, only by hand, because we don't want to add any chemicals. Unless you wash only this shirt and use only natural products, or possibly wash it by hand with gray soap. You can make this treatment even more effective by adding either salt or baking soda. What I mentioned at the beginning, just a small addition, but what should you remember? Both salt and baking soda will definitely enhance the effect of this treatment, but they will also have a stronger detoxifying effect. If someone is very weak, it is recommended to use only water, at least at the beginning, about 3 to 4 or 5 treatments, and later you can eventually add these additives. And now, how do you add them? If we want to add salt, then we take it for 23 liters, because it also depends on the type of shirt and how much it absorbs for 23 liters of this water. We add 2 heaping tablespoons of salt and squeeze out the shirt just the same and put it on the body. However, when it comes to baking soda, it is always used only in the 3rd stage, after you have already done the cleansing in the salt solution for a few days. Salt works on the principle of osmosis. It draws out even more of those compounds, but it also works very well. If someone has high blood pressure and if someone has swelling, also if they are prone to swelling. Somewhere towards the end of this treatment, our 7 to 10 day one, it's worth doing a few of these procedures. On the other hand, baking soda helps us maintain acid-base balance. All these compounds that are formed when we eat acid-forming foods, the excess acids and various metabolites in our tissues. Baking soda will simply help us draw them out through the skin. So you can also mix up these treatments. For example, 3 with pure water, 3 with salt, and 3 with baking soda. So we have 9 treatments for the therapy, used twice a week. What else would I like to draw your attention to? Generally, we say that the first stage is soaking the shirt in cold water, putting it on, and only then do we start to feel warm. This is an exception when we can soak the shirt in warm water. When we do this for small children, for elderly people, and for those who are very weak or who are constantly shivering because they always feel cold. In these cases, we can use warm water. The effect of this kind of detoxification will be milder, but that's exactly the point of a detox. It's not about exhausting the body, but about acting gently and supporting it. And sometimes it's actually better to start with milder treatments, gradually making them stronger, and in that case, warm water is definitely recommended. As for general contraindications, it's not recommended. For example, when a person has some non-healing wounds on their skin, all over their body, or some burns. In that case, such a procedure is not used because toxic compounds on the skin would also get into those damaged tissues. That would be unfavorable. Of course, if someone has ulcers on their lower legs, for example, which often happens with diabetes or circulation disorders, that won't be a contraindication. Such a procedure can definitely be performed, and it can also be done during colds and fevers. And also, in that case, we don't do the procedure for so long, an hour or 3 hours. Half an hour is enough. It's not about inducing a fever. The fever is already there, but putting on a cold shirt, lying down in bed, waiting until it gets warm, and then you can take the shirt off. This way, it also works to cool the body, because that first stage cools us down, but it also draws out a lot of toxic compounds. Even the metabolites that are produced when our immune system fights various viruses and bacteria, this treatment can be used in different ways as a natural support for the body. Of course, remember that what I'm saying is not medical advice, and this treatment will not replace any specialist consultation or proper treatment if that's needed. Here, we're only talking about how you can naturally support your body even more. And if you want to learn more about different methods of detoxifying the body, including simple home remedies, you'll find detailed descriptions in my book, Conscious Detox. Thank you so much for your attention. I wish you lots and lots of health and see you in the next videos. Write in the comments what you think about this method and who has already tried it.